I'm not going to say the boy ain't a good quarterback, but he ain't no Tom Brady. He ain't no Danny White, no John Marino.
That's what he trained with,
though. He ain't none of that. The boy at best is a second string, third string quarterback, but he is not a starter. And then you don't want this prima donna coming to your team. As a white NFL owner of a team that would like to win, you don't want this prima donna. You want one of them running quarterbacks like Michael Vick that's poor. You want a poor quarterback. You don't want a rich quarterback driving a Rolls Royce already with big jewelry on his neck, living in big houses, buying his bad houses. Super Bowl. He just want to say down, said hush.
Man, he gonna bring the Super
But if you go get a poach go do everything that white coach said do. That coach tell him, come on, boy, let me talk to you. I told you to run this play. That poach quarterback is go bow down and listen to that white coach and do everything that white coach said. Here you got a with money already. He got an arrogant daddy. He already arrogant. They're a superstar family. He ain't gonna listen to now coach but his daddy. When I give him a playbook, he go home and him and his daddy go write new plays. I don't want this on my team. This is a prima donna, and he already come. His daddy go have something to say if we ain't doing right. So we don't want him. That's why they passed on him. This is the white man's team, and they don't want. This is what the white boy know. Now I know y'all don't like what I'm about to say.
Wow, hello.
Most of these NFL owners is well into their 70s, 80s, and 90s. They've been drafting longer than you've been alive. And one thing about a rich NFL owner, he specializes in. He know everything about an athletic. He know what he like in middle school. They know everything. They done called everybody and got the report sheet on this. Cause they finna get this a lot of money and they finna bring this into the plantation. The family's business. Jones family, whatever name of the family. So they gonna get to meet the daughter, especially if you're face of the organization type. So we gonna bring this in here. This already got a Rolls Royce getting parking tickets at the college university that he won't pay. He's entitled. He's not gonna be able to take correction outside of his father. And his daddy want to be an NFL coach. We don't want them problems. We'll pass on it. That's what they did. This is our money. This is our family money. We've been studying long as y'all been alive. Y'all think y'all know, but we know because we invest a lot of money into these. We invest millions of dollars into these.
Now, before we dive into the meat of this, let's acknowledge the sheer audacity of Charleston White. This is a man who once said he doesn't like anybody, nobody, not even dogs, roaches, or butterflies. And yet here he is, holding court like he's the Oracle of Delphi, prognosticating Shedeur's NFL fate with the confidence of a weatherman predicting rain in a monsoon. Charleston's not just a commentator. He's a performance artist, a provocateur who thrives on pushing buttons and sparking debates. And when he sets his sights on Shedeur, he's not just critiquing a quarterback. He's taking aim at the entire Sanders brand. The glitz, the glamour, the unapologetic swagger that's made Dion and Shedeur the biggest draw in college football. It's like watching a street preacher yell about the end times. Except instead of Armageddon, he's predicting a 5th-round draft pick and a clipboard-holding career. So, what's Charleston's beef with Shedeur? Well, according to him, it's not just that Shedeur isn't Tom Brady or John Elway. Spoiler alert, nobody is. It's that Shedeur's got all the makings of a diva. The Rolls Royce, the $350,000 watch he allegedly flexed in a Nebraska player's face, the superstar dad who's been calling the shots since Shedeur was in diapers. Charleston's painting a picture of a kid who's too big for his britches, too rich to take correction, and too tied to his father's legacy to fit into the NFL's rigid hierarchy. He's saying Shedeur's not the kind of quarterback who'll run like Michael Vick or grind like a blue-collar hero. He's a prima donna who'll show up with a playbook rewritten by Daddy Dion, ready to tell the coach, nah, we're doing it my way. And the NFL owners, they're not here for it. They're not signing up for a quarterback who comes with a side of controversy, and a father who might call them out on X if they bench his son. Now, let's pause for a second and marvel at the sheer chaos of this narrative. We're living in a world where a YouTube rant can turn a quarterback's draft prospects into a cultural lightning rod. Shedeur Sanders, by all accounts, is a talented player. Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Johnny, Unitas Golden Arm Award winner. 4,134 passing yards in 2024 and a school record 510 yards in a single game against TCU. But Charleston's not talking about stats. He's talking about vibes. And in the court of public opinion, vibes can be a death sentence. According to Charleston, Shedeur's got the wrong kind of swagger. The kind that makes NFL owners, those septuagenarian gatekeepers of the league, clutch their pearls and pass on him faster than you can say salary cap. It's a narrative that's as old as sports itself. The talented kid with too much confidence, too much flash, too much baggage to fit into the buttoned-up world of professional athletics. But here's where it gets juicy, because Charleston's rant isn't just about Shedeur. It's about the NFL race and the power dynamics that govern the league. He's pointing a finger at the white NFL owners and coaches, the ones he says have been drafting players since before Shedeur was born, the ones who see a kid like Shedeur and think, nope, too much trouble. And as a liberal comedian with a penchant for unhinged rants, I can't help but see this as a searing indictment of the NFL's plantation mentality, a system where black athletes are expected to perform, conform, and keep their mouths shut. Charleston's not mincing words. He's saying the NFL doesn't want a quarterback who's already rich, already famous, already driving a Rolls-Royce, and racking up parking tickets at the University of Colorado. They want a quarterback who'll run the play and listen to the white coach, not one who's got Deion Sanders whispering in his ear and a fan base ready to riot on X if he doesn't start week 1. This is where the metaphor kicks in, because Shedeur's story is a microcosm of the American dream gone haywire. He's the kid who's got it all, talent, charisma, a Hall of Fame dad, and yet he's being told he's too much, too loud, too proud. It's like the NFL is saying, we love your arm, but we hate your vibe. And Charleston's out here, cackling like a hyena, saying what nobody else will. The NFL isn't ready for a quarterback who doesn't fit their mold, who doesn't bow to the system, who doesn't play by the rules of a league that's been profiting off black bodies for decades while keeping them in check. It's a narrative that's equal parts infuriating and hilarious, because it exposes the hypocrisy of a league that celebrates swagger on the field but recoils at it in the locker room. Let's talk about Shedeur's draft slide, because this is where Charleston's prophecy starts to look eerily accurate. In April 2025, Shedeur Sanders, once projected as a top 5 pick, plummeted to the 5th round, selected by the Cleveland Browns at 144th overall. A slide so dramatic, it made headlines from ESPN to The Guardian. Analysts were stunned. Fans were furious. And Deion Sanders was out here quoting scripture on X, talking about God using the foolish things to confound the wise. But what happened? Why did a quarterback with Shedeur's resume, 3,732 yards and 40 touchdowns at Jackson State, 4,134 yards and 37 touchdowns at Colorado, fall so far? Was it his game, his attitude, or, as Charleston suggests, something deeper, something tied to the NFL's unspoken rules about who gets to be the face of a franchise? The scouting reports tell part of the story. Critics pointed to Shedeur's tendency to hold the ball too long, taking 94 sacks in 2 seasons at Colorado, the most in FBS. They questioned his arm strength, noting he completed just 47% of his passes beyond 20 yards. They called him not overly athletic, a polite way of saying he's not running like Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson. But let's be real, plenty of quarterbacks with similar flaws have gone in the 1st round. Tom Brady wasn't exactly Usain Bolt, and he was picked 199th overall before becoming the GOAT. So what gives? According to reports from USA Today and The Athletic, it wasn't just Shedeur's game. It was his pre-draft process. He skipped all-star games, didn't work out at the NFL Combine, and reportedly sandbagged interviews with teams he didn't want to play for. One anonymous coach called his Combine interview the worst he'd ever seen, accusing Shedeur of being entitled and unwilling to take correction. Another executive said he made them feel small. Ouch. Still, there's something admirable about Shedeur's defiance, his refusal to dim his light to fit the NFL's mold. He's not just a quarterback, he's a cultural force, a kid who's turned college football into a spectacle, who's got the confidence to flex a watch in a rival's face and the stats to back it up. And Dion, he's not just a coach. He's a revolutionary, a black man who's taken control of his narrative and built a platform that's bigger than the game itself. Together, they're a father-son duo that's challenging the status quo, and the NFL's reaction, passing on Shedeur until the 5th round, is proof that the system doesn't like to be challenged. Charleston White's out here saying what the league won't. They don't want a quarterback who's already a star, who's got his own playbook, who's got a dad ready to call out the coach on X. They want a quarterback who'll run the play, and Shedeur's not that guy.